It's so sad how the rich and the privileged people in the society feels like the poor and the less privileged are stupid. This thing happening in Nigeria now is something that I know it's gonna happen. I'm even surprised it didn't happen earlier. When their kids are sick, they fly them abroad to a very expensive hospital, and they do the same thing for themselves. When their kids want to go to school, they take them to the best universities outside the country, while the poor suffer back in the country. It's a shame. Nigeria needs your prayers and physical help. You might be asking the question, why? I know why. It's simple. It's just because the people are hungry. That simple. The hunger led to anger, the anger led to frustration, and even more frustration, and now peaceful protest. This is a country that has about 5 people in an average family. But then the minimum wage is about $44. Just $44. Because of this, I've decided to make an illustration so you understand. This is for the benefits of people who are Nigerians but are living outside the country but haven't visited Nigeria for like in the past 5 years. Or maybe for people who are not Nigerians but they have friends in Nigeria. This illustration is just for them to understand the pain of an average Nigerian. So because of this, I've decided to make a pot of food for an average Nigerian so you understand. So I took the time to explain this, okay? This is not for your entertainment, no. This is serious, okay? An average family wants to cook rice and beans. I decided to use rice and beans because I can't imagine life without rice and beans as a kid. I loved it so much. And here we go. Cup of rice in Nigeria is 500 naira, and 500 naira is likened to, with $1, you can actually get 2 cups of rice. Okay? Because it's 500 naira. And then for the beans, it's also 500 naira. So we have 2 cups of rice and 1 cup of beans. So I'm going to put this $1 here. And let's say this 2 cups of rice is $1, okay? And then 1 cup of beans is not up to $1 because it's 500 naira. But then we also need some other things, right? We already consumed $2, okay? And we need salt, condiments, right? We need tomatoes. We need pepper. We also need Maggi. All those things, you know, they're gonna come up to, let's say, $1 more for them. And then what do we have? We have $3. This is a family that earns $44 monthly. And then this is gonna make a meal. So I successfully made a meal for a family of 5. And this will be the portion. Each of them is gonna have a meal about this big. And then this family needs to eat this at least 3 times. We spent $3. 3 times 3 would be $9, right? And that's for 1 day. And then 9 divided by 44, you are getting about approximately 4 or 5 days. So what happens to the remaining 20-something days? Now, this has nothing to do with the school fees, the electric bills, and so many other things. Now, you might understand the problems Nigerians face. And that explains why those people are on the street protesting peacefully. But then how and why did we get to this point? This is what I can't really fathom. It breaks my heart. Why? Why would a country that boasts of human resources, about over 220 million people, not to talk of the natural resources stemming from zinc, iron ore, coal, gold, tin, a lot of them, and the big boy crude oil, why would a country like that be in this kind of pain? The story of crude oil is just like a story of a man who built a house and then decided that he needs water supply in his house. He called the services of an engineer. The engineer was able to get water after digging a well. And then he quickly realized that the water was dirty and then decided to send his water to his neighbor who has a filter. Sends the water down to his neighbor and his neighbor filters the water. And guess what? After filtration, the neighbor sells the water to him. And he buys it. A simple question would be, why don't you buy your own filter? Well, that would be a talk for another day. How? How do you explain in a country where the majority of the traders are Easterners? They love it. But the only most functional seaport that they have in the country is in the West. Now subjecting the Easterners to leave the comfort of their home down to the West, Lagos, to trade because they need the services of the seaport, causing Lagos to be very congested and populated. Now, bear in mind, the East has the possibility of having their own seaport, but that is not done. Rather, people would rather suffer instead of making this easy for them. The Nigerian Easterners who decide to stay in the comfort of their home and move their goods that they have already imported through the seaports and decide to use a semi-truck to move this from the western part of the country to the eastern part. After being cleared by the customs, they end up facing the horror of their life through the transit heading towards the east. The same customs that cleared the same goods would hold them hostage, claiming that the goods that they have already cleared is a contraband and not fit to enter the country. Guess what? They end up paying through their nose just to let these goods go. Some of them get their goods impounded, and sometimes the same customs will sell the goods to make money. Why? Can you explain the reason that even if the government decides not to dredge the seaport in the east and make it functional, why wouldn't they create freight trains to move these containers from the west to the east, north, south, to different parts of the country and make life easy for people? Simple. But then they would rather let people congest themselves in Lagos and then use a semi-truck to move this thing. Guess what? A lot of people lose their life because the roads are bad and the semi-trucks get into accidents. Do you know how many people that have died because of this semi-truck accident on a bad road? Why? Why would a country that has very smart and strong people, and these people are not recognized, but immediately they leave the shores of the country and move to a foreign land? They represent the country they moved to, and then their names are heard. These and many more, those things in your mind, are the reason people are protesting. They are angry. It is called a peaceful protest, but I'm scared it might turn to something else. Years back, I made a video during NSAS because I was worried people are gonna lose their life, and it did happen. Hopefully, this time around, it doesn't get to that. Recently, we had a glimpse of hope, but like a candle in the wind, it was snuffed out. If you're a Nigerian and you're outside Nigeria, or you're not in Nigeria, you are in the Europe, America, or wherever, but you have friends in Nigeria, try as much as you can to reach out to your friend or your family. This is not to say that we do not have very rich people in Nigeria, but then the wealth is not evenly distributed. Share this to friends, relatives outside the country. People need to know. It is very important. Like and follow my page, but most importantly, remain peaceful in this protest and also law abiding. It is very